All right, then. So we're getting into it. We've got game one. Now, this is a match. This actually, although we are in the semifinals, I would say that this does have the potential to be the best match of the tournament. With any luck, I don't know. I think the most likely team to make it to from the other side of the bracket is probably Noisy and DarkHero, and that does also have the potential to be a great match. Maybe I'm selling them a little bit short. Especially considering they are the reigning champions. But nevertheless, let's get into this series here on Tharsis Forge, and it is going to be Redbeard on this Orc Commando Knob, very much his trademark hero. Really surprising to see him go anything else these days. Does sometimes go the Plague Champion. Pretty good with that too. But Sneaky Orc, guns, bombs, and knives, what have you. DarkHero will be playing as the Force Commander. Tanky melee hero, disrupts, buffs, can also be a little bit of support. BestN00b going to be on that Plague Champion. Plague Champion's signature hero for him, something he's very strong with. Heals, repairs, diseases, and Bruce Campbell, of course, going to be on that Warlock. Really seems to be. I think he's played every single game so far on the Warlock. I guess that may just be his best hero, even though I often think of him as an Imperial Guard player. But a lot of people saying that Imperial Guard, not so great these days. And Bruce Campbell, I mean, just as a very, very good player, of course, can have plenty of heroes up his sleeve. A lot of really good players in this game are very flexible and play a multitude, a veritable SAT word of heroes. So, Warlock from Bruce Campbell will scare off the Tactical Marines as they look to move around this line of sight blocker, but they will get engaged on by the Warlock. Warlock now a little bit isolated, and we don't even have the support coming in from the Dire Avengers providing range damage. If anything, I'm actually a little surprised that he left that early. I think he might have been able to stay in there with the Dire Avengers trying to provide, possibly even trying to bleed down the scouts. Yeah, in my personal opinion, because, you know, I'm so good, that did seem like a little bit of a premature retreat from our players there. All right, then. So, Scouts will be shooting on some Dire Avengers in retreat. Not a huge amount of damage there from them, but it does look like, at the moment at least, this is DarkHero trying to put some pressure on to this power, but eventually he will need to get his Tactical Marines out of there before they risk losing a model from the Howling Banshees. Meanwhile, on this side of the map, we are going to see Plague Champion seemingly taking a lot of damage. He is in cover, so he can also tank a lot of damage. Even though he looks like he's at 40% health, which he actually is, he does have quite a bit more staying power where he can afford to stay in there just a bit longer. In fact, he is moving in to take this point. But it does look like this is Redbeard coming over to support DarkHero. The move over, however, it does look like Bruce Campbell is wise to it. Perhaps BestN00b even called it out. I was going to expect a stun bomb, but instead it looks like it will be some hide the boys sluggers. They should eventually get into melee. If anything, it was pretty good time for Bruce Campbell to move them around. And actually the hide the boys, okay, eventually they will manage to force that Guardian weapon team in retreat. It almost seemed like he was wise to it, which is strange. Maybe he's stream sniping, except for the fact that I do have a 30-second delay. So should not be possible for him to see something like that, even if he is stream sniping, which of course he's not, because he wouldn't do such a thing. Assault Marines out on the field for DarkHero will result in that Warlock being forced off the field.
We'll figure that boost right out.
Banshees will get knocked over by the Assault Marines, and that will mean they will need to get out of there. Probably some Force Melee going to come in from the tax. See if we can maybe take one more model off these Howling Banshees. But oh man, Space Marines, not the greatest army at killing units on retreat there. Not there, not anywhere else. Look at this. We are going to have the Chain Sword and Storm Shield Force Commander, something that has been so good. But the Tactical Marines are not in range, so they're actually getting suppressed. Oh, that didn't quite... I don't think that quite worked out the way DarkHero wanted it. And unfortunately, DarkHero will eat those grenades. Force Commander is in here. He does finally scare the Guardian weapon team off, but he will also have to retreat the Force Commander. Meanwhile, it does look like Raptors will jump in there. On is that some Ludas? Do we have the best unit in the game here? The Orc Luda? Yes, we do. We've got some Ludas. More importantly, though, and less Mimi, we even have a Pain Boy out from Redbeard. Pain Boy, very much a unit I approve of. Meanwhile, on this side, we are going to have Warlock upgraded with the Merciless Witchblade as well as the Champion's Robe. So interesting to see that. It does seem like that is still the preferred setup against Space Marines as a way of reducing the value that those Assault Marines get. Make things quite a bit harder for them. All right, meanwhile, on this side, we are going to see Plague Champion turret set up. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't yet know how to solve the live viewing FPS problem of Dawn of War 2. I have not yet taken the advice of someone to make a partition on my hard drive and install Windows 7. I'm still a little bit cautious about that. Not sure if that's a step I want to take. Just worried about handling that correctly and not, you know, messing up my whole computer in the attempt. But anyway, we will see the approach by the Force Commander from DarkHero. Assault Marines will jump on the Guardian Weapon Team. Warlock is still in here, super tanky with that Merciless Witchblade as well as the Champion's Robe. Alright, Commander Knob will be in cover right here as he does duel out against both the Chaos Space Marines as well as the Plague Champion. But this will definitely be a pretty strong generator bash coming out of Redbeard. Redbeard should be able to finish off this whole farm with the army that he has right here. He will find himself potentially in a difficult position where he might soon... Okay, does not look like he will focus on finishing the generators because he will get engaged on rather soon. There are still going to be some generators up here. He's positioning in a way that shows that he still wants to see if he can win the fight, but with the Raptors jumping in on the Chaos Space Marines... Anyway, that is going to be a rough retreat for Redbeard. Did I say Redbeard? Redbeard. But luckily he does get them out of there without losing any full squads. Definitely losing some models, though. Super expensive hardware. I wonder if even the super expensive hardware would make a difference. I guess you would need to have something super good, since it does seem to be... The FPS problem does seem to be a problem with... just with Dawn of War 2 and on, at least on Windows 10, so I'm not sure if even the super expensive hardware would make it work. I mean, does everybody just have Windows 7 installed or something? All right, then. So, Chainsword and Storm Shield with that defendability, it does make it a little bit easier for DarkHero to manage this engagement, but his scout's getting just a little bit too low here. Force Commander kind of isolated at the moment, though, does get knocked down. Need the support to come out from that Devastator Marine squad, and he does end up retreating the Force Commander. I don't know if... Okay, the Force Commander does make it out alive with the support from that Devastator Marine squad. Assault Marines will jump out. Well, Tonelli, at least if we're not memeing, just the idea behind Windows 7 is that, at least based on what I've been told, the frame rate while live observing, for some reason, for my game at least, the frame rate when I observe a game live is a lot worse than when I either play a game myself or when I observe a replay. And at least one suggestion that I had for that is someone said install Windows 7 because the game just runs better on Windows 7 and that should fix the issue. So there are at least a few people who do run Dawn of War 2 on Windows 7 because of that. And I've thought about doing it. I'm just a little bit worried about actually trying it. Well, Tonelli, apparently Dawn of War 2 is not a program that's super compatible with Windows 10. Alright, Force Commander will be scared off here. We do have a significant victory point lead for Best Noob and Bruce Campbell in this game. And it actually looks like they're ending up being pretty dominant. Assault Marines, nevertheless, will jump in here on the Dire Avengers. However, this will be Bruce Campbell actually holding for the moment. So he will, DarkHero will not be able to force him off. Raptor's looking to jump in, though. Oh no, that could be the end of this Heretic squad. So Best Noob loses a Heretic squad. Does he also lose the Plague Champion as well? Okay, he does move the Plague Champion. Redbeard saying he can't move anything even after just killing 2 of Best Noob's units. Oh no! But he loses... Maybe he really is having trouble. He does lose the Pain Boy. So that could be rough. I mean, in the end, it will be a concede from DarkHero and Redbeard. A little bit of a disappointing end to that game. Not quite as even as I had hoped it would be, and it does sound like Redbeard was struggling with some technical difficulty and wouldn't fix the problems that I'm currently having with Dawn of War 2 Retribution. But let's talk about this game that we're going to get into. Game number 2 will be on Desert Showdown. Best Noob will be playing as that Plague Champion yet again. Bruce Campbell also reprising his role as the Warlock, whereas DarkHero will also be reprising his role on the Force Commander, and the only one who's going to switch things up will be Redbeard, this time choosing to play the Plague Champion. Alright then, so we are going to see Force Commander just tank some damage from the Plague Champion. Does not want to give up this power node at the moment. We'll see if maybe he knows this up. Okay, he can't node this up that quickly, but I don't think we'll see an approach from the Plague Champion to try to decap it. Instead, we're going to see support coming in the form of the Tactical Marines. They will activate Kraken Bolts. See if they can start getting a few shots on the Chaos Space Marines. Force Commander, though, has already tanked a lot of damage, so he's lost a lot of his staying power. Tactical Marines, if we take a look, these I don't know, what even are these? These carts that for some reason have the Aquila insignia are actually heavy cover, whereas many of the other things around here are light cover. Oh no, Redbeard saying that he's lagging again. Ice cream badge, I missed that. Let's take a quick look at that. Ice cream. There it is, you're right. Wow, very nice. Alright then, meanwhile, we are going to have some heretics getting in range with some scouts. However, Force Commander will be there to intercept them. This could be a model wipe on the scouts, though, or a model kill. 2 heretics models were paid for that, though. And now 4 heretic models. Squad is pretty low. We might see a few more models go down in retreat. Ultimately, I think that does end up being an economic loss. Redbeard asking for a remake does make things a little bit questionable, though, at this point. I mean, I guess that's an early enough remake where no one suffered any significant losses that we can remake it, but man, it is pretty rough. It does feel like whenever we do have a monthly team tournament, there is someone who is having crippling lag issues that is making things tough to play. In the monthly tournament last time, the monthly Rumble tournament, the 1v1 tournament, we had a really, really sad occasion where it was It was Lindonen versus Noisy in round 1 of the tournament, which is a great round 1 match, and it actually went all the way to a 3rd game. And unfortunately, Lindonen had really serious lag issues by the end of game 2 and couldn't even continue on to a game 3, so he had to drop out. Noisy advanced. And although I personally expected Noisy probably would have won anyway, we were deprived of a 3rd game that never even happened, that should have happened, because of some crippling lag issues. So hopefully any lag issues by Redbeard are going to sort themselves out. Now, as it turns out, I think it is kind of known at this point that part of the lag issues could actually just be occurring as a result of the coronavirus, which I know you're going to be like saying that's so ridiculous. What, your internet got the Rona? But, you know, I'm hearing there are articles on the internet that do say that with so many people staying home, there is just a much bigger load on many internet connections. And, I mean, given that we're dealing with a situation that is pretty much unprecedented, I'd say, this global pandemic. Maybe not unprecedented, but if there has been anything like it, it hasn't happened in a while. But basically, yeah, actually, no, it is unprecedented, because the last time there were even really epidemics, which are smaller than pandemics, the internet was not actually a major part of human society. So this really is unprecedented. And I'm hearing that basically internet connections are having trouble dealing with the increased load. A couple weeks ago when I was trying to stream, I was having a lot of internet issues. And I was even playing... I recently downloaded a free-to-play game, one of those shitty ones from GameHag.com, called Crossout. And it even had a message in the game itself that says there are potential lag issues in-game because of just what's going on with the internet load around the world. But let's take a look at our chat as we see what's going on. Okay, so we should just have players greened up. We'll see. I'm a little worried and feeling a little bit suspect about Redbeard's internet. Unless it's actually just his computer. If the problem is his internet, I'm a little worried that it's not going to fix itself in time. We don't quite have the players on the right teams. However, it actually looks like players are now on different sides of the map. I think I'm going to have to switch those. And by the way, Anonymous, if that's how you say that name, thank you for the follow. As I forgot to get around to that. We already started this map. We already introduced our heroes, but I'll just do it real quickly one time again. DarkHero on the Force Commander. Ice Cream Force Commander. With all those lines. Alright. Plague Champion played by Redbeard. Another Plague Champion will be played by BestN00b. And finally, and that icon of Nurgle on top. Finally will be Bruce Campbell on his Warlock. Every single game so far played on that Warlock. And let's actually take a closer look at some more of these scouts so we can see the ice cream symbol. Looks like it's on their shoulder pad, pauldron, whatever it's called. Shoulder mount, named after our player. And I want to take a look at it on the Tactical Marines as well. Yes, the Ice Cream Legions of the Tactical Marines, of the Space Marines. So not too much happening yet on our map. However, this actually looks like a late pickup. DarkHero changing things up. And honestly, I feel it's a little bit unnecessary that he changed things up. Okay, I guess it didn't matter too much in the end. I was mostly just worried about the possibility that he would not have been able to actually take his own power, or that his own power might get decapped, which is still a possibility. Okay, it doesn't look like Chaos Space Marines will move into there. Force Commander will chase the Plague Champion, but he will just take cover in the garrison. Howling Banshee's taken some range damage, some small amount of range damage. They will start getting to the point where they might lose a model. Plague Champion is inside the garrison, shooting outside at these scouts. Scouts are themselves going to be shooting at some Chaos Heretics, while the Tactical Marines are a little bit low, so Chaos Space Marines will force melee, but there is also the support from the Force Commander. It does look like Battle Cry effect has worn off, but there is a special attack there that does knock down a Chaos Space Marine model. However, not a single model kill. Tactical Marines also at the point where they could risk losing a model 2, but they are upgrading to a Flamer. I guess just wanting to make it their business that they will get some generator bashing going, as well as having that option to, or just having that preemptive option to be able to bash generators. Alright, Force Commander will get suppressed. Actually, double suppression on both the Force Commander and the Scouts. Scouts do lose a model there from those heretics. Rather unfortunate. Ooh, Tactical Marines. They're cutting things real close here. My god, look at how low these Tactical Marines are and how incredibly lucky DarkHero is getting. And he's still not retreating them. Finally does retreat them. And finally, one model does go down from the Plague Champion's damage over time bolter. Crazy. Alright then. So we are going to see, it is going to be the Howling Banshees. They will start taking down this generator. Meanwhile, DarkHero appears to be frustrated or surprised about something. I'm not quite sure what it is, though. Not happy about some kind of pathing. I must have missed it, but it doesn't look like he's in too much trouble at the moment. And BestN00b and Bruce Campbell, I did kind of hype up this series as a potential finals material, but at the moment, it does look like BestN00b and Bruce Campbell are being pretty dominant. They won game 1 rather convincingly. They have a double cap. Sorry, they have a triple cap. But does the Warlock get out of here alive? He does not. Now, luckily, at least for him, that's not too hard of a revive position. Scouts will get suppressed. They do use their Shotgun Blast, but it doesn't knock the entire Heretic squad back. They are so low in hit points. They do have some support from this Devastator, however, so they will even be able to stay out on the field. However, I feel like the Scouts might want to retreat at some point. They're cutting it pretty close. I guess just here they're trying to pressure off the Plague Champion, who's taking cover, but he's also getting flamed out of the cover. Scouts are super low. I mean, can't afford to miss-micro them at all if they're out here that low. I think at this point they need to retreat now. That was super close. Are they even lucky enough to get out alive? They are just barely lucky enough. DarkHero really playing with fire there. And meanwhile, he will get flanked by these heretics, and that will just need to be a retreat by both his scout squad as well as the Devastator Marines. However, he does not lose a single model. We are going to hear an Iron Halo pickup from the Force Commander. Havocs will be working at shooting these Tactical Marines inside the garrison. Force Commander is alone, however. He will eventually get overwhelmed, I think, trying to see just what models he can bleed. Actually, he does have the Iron Halo. That does give him a lot more staying power. So he'll actually stay out here for a little bit of time as we see the support coming in from Redbeard with his Raptors. And here comes some more support from DarkHero's own units. Force Commander finally out of energy, does decide to just retreat out of there. We're going to have some upgraded scouts. They've got a sergeant, they've got shotguns, able to do quite a bit of damage, also have that grenade potential. However, they're still rather squishy and will lose a model right there. What's going on here between DarkHero and Redbeard? It's still a double cap, though, for BestN00b and Bruce Campbell. Still victory points in their favor. Not a single victory point tick down for DarkHero and Redbeard. In fact, we might even have another triple cap against them. Yeah, actually, that Guardian weapon team does need to get out of there. Taking too much damage from these grenade launcher heretics. Meanwhile, some traitors are attacking on this side. Devastator Marines will be jumped on. We're going to have the Raptors jumping on the Tactical Marines, however. So the Devastator Marines looking to reset up. And I think mainly, this could be a grenade opportunity on the suppressed blob. Instead, it will be a shotgun blast and then a grenade thrown. Not much of a response, but BestN00b getting so close. No, just kidding. This is DarkHero. I sometimes mix those players up. Getting so close to losing his scout squad again. But unfortunately, just having trouble making things work. I hope we don't see a 500-0. Those are always a big oof. Heavy bolter turret will be set up, however. Oh no, heavy bolter turret. Grenade attempt to be thrown in. BestN00b doesn't micro away from it. Does lose a Chaos Space model. Force Commander is in here, but I think there's also... Oh, wow, the retreat already? That's a little bit surprising. Okay, and of all the units to retreat, he doesn't retreat. Okay, finally retreats the Plague Champion. Does the Plague Champion go down? I don't think he does. So that does mean that Heavy Bolter turret, I don't think it really gets much value. Just once the Raptors are gone, although the Raptors putting in some work on the Scouts. Should be the end. Actually, BestN00b coming back out, seeing if he can keep his turret alive. But I don't think he can. I think with everything that DarkHero has here, but he's going to commit the touch of Nurgle that does scare off the Shotgun Scouts. Tactical Marines, oh my god, I think BestN00b actually maintains control of this. Okay, no. It looked promising, and if he had the rest of his units up there a little bit faster, Tactical Marines, going to put For the Emperor on the Tactical Marines just to make sure the turret goes down. That is actually pretty crazy to me that global would be committed just to make sure that turret goes down. Just really showing how powerful that turret can be with locking down your power farm against you. Wide firing arc on that Plague Champion turret, even though we saw that it doesn't suppress super quickly. All right, Tactical Marines going to be looking for a decap, but there should also be a decap by the Dire Avengers right here. Maybe, maybe not. We do also see a Noxious Cloud somewhere under these Howling Banshees. So that will be the Howling Banshees in retreat. 2 models go down from the Howling Banshees. We'll make it 3. Can we make it 4? Don't think we can count that high. Now it's finally a double cap for DarkHero and Redbeard. So the 500-0 dream for BestN00b and Bruce Campbell is officially dead. But they just might still be able to walk away from this match with a victory anyway. Scouts, or rather, Heretics, rather, taking a lot of damage from those Tactical Marines as well as the Scouts. And it does look like BestN00b and Bruce Campbell will be able to move back in here. DarkHero is trying to hold it, but I don't think he can, at least not with his current units. And unfortunately, keeping those Tactical Marines and Scouts in there does mean that he eventually does have to retreat them out off the field. And now he's fighting a half-strength fight because his approaches from his units are rather staggered. But it looks like he's able to manage it anyway. Shotgun Scouts, though, routinely being focused down by the Chaos Space Marines from BestN00b. And the Scouts are often in trouble. Meanwhile, as all this is happening, 2 generators, I believe, were killed by BestN00b as he was distracted here. Force Commander with the Iron Halo, able to get into melee with the Havoc. And that is enough to force the full retreat out from BestN00b. And we do see DarkHero and Redbeard, they are kind of stabilizing at the moment. It actually feels like we've been in this game for so long, given the lead in victory points that BestN00b and Bruce Campbell have, and yet we are actually seeing these players only just now getting to tier 2, so maybe this game hasn't actually been going on that long, even though to me it's actually felt pretty long. Alright, Tactical Marines looking to burn down those generators. Shotgun Blast from the Scouts will slow the approach from the Heretics so that they can't really interrupt the Tactical Marines. Heretics still seeing if they can kill a model on retreat, and indeed they do. What a big pickup. It's going to be 75 requisition. Unfortunately, Redbeard, turns out yet again he appears to be dealing with some internet issues, and that does make things pretty sad, since it did look like DarkHero and Redbeard were starting to come back into this series.
One of our generators is under attack.
All right, then. It's starting to, looks like momentum shifting back in favor of BestN00b and Bruce Campbell. Things going rough for Redbeard at the moment. Touch of Nurgle Heretics, though. Could we see the wipe on the Howling Banshees? That could just be what they need. That grenade looks good, and it does actually finish off the Howling Banshees. Nice play, DarkHero. Teammate lagging, no worries. Just support him and then win the game that way. Scouts are so low. They're moving back in. Oh no, the Scouts. All right, Scouts will get out alive. I don't think they used either of their abilities. I think they should have maybe shotgun blasted at some point, or at least used the grenade if you want to go for that high-risk, high-reward stuff to try to make some things happen. But he kind of just moved them in a little bit too close. Probably just a little miss micro. Things getting a little crazy. All right, so DarkHero will be looking to get back the contested victory point, or the middle victory point. Dark Reapers are now out on the field from Bruce Campbell, however. Long-range damage against heavy infantry units. What are these bloodletters doing? Can he actually... Oh! Oh, it wasn't lag. It was some kind of bug. They're actually just stuck. Oh, no. That is really so unfortunate. That actually really sucks. That doesn't even look like lag. That is so super unfortunate. Bruce Campbell blaming the Elite mod. Is that really a problem with the Elite mod specifically? Is that not just Dawn of War 2? Okay, nevertheless, it does look like Blue Team doing okay at the moment. However, this hard commit by DarkHero to the other side of the map to Redbeard does mean that he gives up the middle victory point, which BestN00b is happy to just take back. Alright, meanwhile on this side, what's going on here? It's still a significant victory point lead for BestN00b and Bruce Campbell. Oh, what a grenade! That grenade actually catching quite a few heretic models. They're getting suppressed. Nice combo. Yeah, I don't know if this is the time for the Plague Champion to be going into the garrison. Luckily, he's just a single entity, so he is able to tank the damage from those two grenades just fine. Anyone else, like any other infantry unit, would have been screwed going into the garrison like that. All right, meanwhile, some things are just not going well for DarkHero. His scouts are constantly being melted down. Okay, autocannon heavy weapon team, sorry, autocannon Havoc will at least force the Dreadnought to deal with this blob with some respect. However, Fist of the Emperor will go down, does stun the Raptors, and before the Dreadnought wants to make any further approaches there, even though it probably could just walk straight up to the Havoc, does want to be a little bit careful about that, want to engage with more of his forces, get some repairs on the Dreadnought so it can go in at full health, or at least most of its health. However, it looks like we're already seeing a rotation out of Redbeard. So to buy some time, DarkHero wants to see if he can get a decap on this victory point. No response to this yet from BestN00b, or anyone else for that matter. Okay, response is coming. The Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines need to be super careful. I don't actually like them going that close. The Shotgun Blast, what does that buy them at this time? A little bit of damage? It will just force a retreat out of them. So they need to take this time to capture back the contested victory point, put someone on it. We do have the approach here. Oh, man, I think they're a little bit slow on that. All right, at least the grenade is dodged, but no one is capturing that contested victory point. It's going to be a lot harder to get it back. Touch of Nurgle from the Heretics, but there's also a Dreadnought that can really rip apart the Heretics regardless of Touch of Nurgle. However, the Dreadnought will instead probably be prioritizing the heavy weapon team. Raptor's actually going to take care of it. And this does look like an engagement that will probably go in favor of DarkHero and Redbeard. Heretics actually super low, but they will get out of there with their final model alive. Okay, does look like a one engagement for DarkHero and Redbeard. Let's take a look at this Warlock, though, looking to see if he can get this victory point back for himself. Yeah, because there's... Okay, so here... No, I was going to say we see the rotation. That's actually just straight up retreating. A multi-melted Dreadnought, just as hopefully a way, I guess, to actually threaten the Falcon. The answers to the Falcon at the moment are not particularly good. Force Commander with the Thunderhammer here, looking to definitely do a lot of damage to some Heretics. Force Commander, though, is pretty low. He switched out the Iron Halo for the Teleporter Pack, and he actually needs to use the Teleporter Pack defensively to get out of there. Raptors will be jumping in. They will suppress both the Scouts as well as the Tactical Marines. I believe these Tactical Marines have activated, and they shall know no fear. 35% chance to do special attacks. Meanwhile, the Dreadnought is being chased down by the Falcon. It's super low. It either needs repairs, it needs to get around line of sight blockers. It will get around the line of sight blockers, but the Falcon can keep going. Models being taken down by the Tactical Marine Squad. Plague Champion probably going to go down for Redbeard. And this is okay. That is a Predator. Mark of Khorne Predator actually coming around to finish off the Falcon. I was going to say, to me it felt like DarkHero and Redbeard up against the ropes. Certainly in terms of victory points they are. And are they even able to maintain control of this? The combination, yeah, I mean, the Heretics cannot actually just defend against this Warlock, so that does mean we're going to need to see a decap over here and would eventually probably a full cap by the Scouts on this victory point. Since it really just... Heretics cannot fend off the Warlock alone. This Predator needs some repairs. 254 hit points. Raptors will jump in. Does he know about the Guardian weapon team right here? Doesn't look like he knows it because he's moving in with the Raptors. Okay, eventually I think he will find out about it, and he should have enough energy for the Raptors to jump again soon. Actually, they have more than enough energy. Another Guardian weapon team. Ooh, this one actually now a Bright Lance. The Chaos Predator needs to be real careful about that. Does get around a line of sight blocker, and it will be just fine. So it does look like Redbeard will be able to take control back of that, which is good for him, considering that DarkHero is losing control of the victory point on this side. Wow, Bruce Campbell even entertaining the idea of a GG. Really? Bruce Campbell, I guess, Bruce Campbell has definitely suffered a lot of losses. Both players do not have their commanders. They don't have a lot of requisition to buy them back. Bruce Campbell is closer. And more importantly, where are the commanders? A little bit of that old-fashioned toxicity, but meanwhile, oh wow, Bruce Campbell and BestN00b will concede. My God! So DarkHero and Redbeard managed to hold on, and they managed to put a point on the board. Very, very impressive by them. I mean, to me, it actually felt like it was going to be a 2-0 victory in favor of BestN00b and Bruce Campbell. But Redbeard, you know, Redbeard, a good friend of mine too. I like playing with him in the past, although he also really kicked my ass. And I like, here's how I would say it. Like if I'm a betting man, I would bet on Bruce Campbell and BestN00b. But as far as who I'm cheering for, I'm looking for Redbeard and DarkHero.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, Bruce Campbell plays a lot too. I mean, these are all 8 of the teams up here in this lineup were pretty rough. I mean, even the matches with Noisy and Riku, the guys they're fighting against were not putting up no fight.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Riku, although Dark Riku and Noisy, those names they're not quite as dominant as they used to be, I think.
Sure.
They are. I mean, they're certainly still good, but like, they are actually the reigning monthly team tournament champions.
Oh, really? Interesting.
But yeah, it was a little bit surprising too, though, because normally there are, you know, it's just things change over time, and they don't always win things quite as easily. But anyway, let's focus in on this game.
All right, so we've got Plague Champ, we've got Mech, and then an opposing Plague Champ and Warlock. Plague Champion, I feel like, is just a pretty tough guy in team games in general, right? Like he's got sustain on the field, he's got ability to lock down with turrets and stuff. He's just generally a good tier 1 guy.
Yeah, we definitely saw some pretty good plays with him earlier, where someone getting baited in by a las cannon turret. Pretty fun to see. We're going to see Orcs approaching right here, going to be pushing back some Eldar.
Yeah, it looks like just a big push. Like they consolidated their forces. They all came over here to kind of beat up on this Eldar. And oh my gosh, are they gonna get a squad? A squad of Dire Avengers goes down. Are they gonna?
It's gonna be traded out.
Well, I guess that's 1 for 1, huh?
Yeah. So I guess in that case, it's not. I mean, I'd say which one is worse? I don't even know if either one is actually worse. Actually, I think I would have to compare, you know, requisition costs. But I think it's also pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage in the game, it's kind of not a big deal either way. Like, either player can repurchase those squads if they want to. I feel like in Tier 2, the Sluggers are more valuable. But, I mean, the Dire Avengers are no slouch either.
All right, meanwhile, it does look like BestN00b was able to push on in his side of the map, but he will be intercepted by DarkHero, now playing as that mech boy.
Yeah, this is a lot of chaos beef that he needs to cut through. I don't think he quite has the range damage. Now with the Plague Champ kind of moving in on the flank, I think they should be able to hold here. They just have to be careful about those heretics, make sure they don't get the Doom Blast in there.
They are committing.
Oh man, he's actually committing to the fight.
Well, I mean, they're committing to doubling BestN00b right now. It's BestN00b against 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, no, I'm saying BestN00b's committing. That's what I was surprised about. Best
He's
or not,
doing
it's
okay.
2-on-1.
Yeah, it does look like eventually he will need to get on out of there. Retreat's coming in for some heretics for the Chaos Space Marines. One squad of heretics still trying to stick in there as much as they can. But take a look at the other side of the map now.
Hold on, people are telling me you're too quiet. I'm gonna bump you up a bit. Keep chatting.
That's funny. On mine, they tell me you're too loud. Probably because just the way our different streams are normalized.
That's funny. Yeah, that's the problem with doing stuff on the fly, folks. We don't really get to we didn't get to check out all our audio levels before we got rolling. So keep giving us the feedback. We'll adjust as we need to.
And I'll just say on mine, originally I turned down Rupee to 70%. Now he's at 80. So hopefully that's okay. If it's still a little bit soft, I'll turn it up to like 85 or 90.
Alright, so a lot of shenanigans going down while we were playing with our audio levels. Looks like Plague Champion got pushed back a little bit. No one's going to be able to get a full gen bash here, though. The Blues are over here with a squad of Banshees, but they're not going to be able to get much done. They might be able to tag this one generator and get out of there before the heretics have something to say about it.
Yeah, immediate retreat. Not even worth it for them to stay in there any longer and even try to put some damage on, because they would just lose models from the heretics.
Yeah, they were fortunate enough not to lose anything. So they went down to about 2/3 health. They'll escape with all their models. And let's see, DarkHero still with his Shooter Boys. Are both squads? Yeah, both squads of Shooter Boys fully upgraded. The Mech Boy also with his electric armor, so he's just going kind of range spam to start. And we'll see where it goes from there.
I didn't catch the electric armor. I feel like whenever the electric armor is pulled out, it often gets a lot of value. You just see him teleport in, nuke a bunch of squads. So we'll see if he gets that kind of value out of it today. Here they come in.
Yeah, I mean, things like the Dire Avengers, things like the Heretics are both going to be tough to deal with that. A lot of potential model losses on that stuff. Neither side's super committing. Both sides like respecting the other pretty well, as far as like no one's been diving in super deep to try to get those gen bashes or anything like that.
Yeah, so far it's looking like a pretty even start. Someone, BestN00b saying not building gens. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Maybe, not building gens on his side. They actually don't have full power farms yet.
No, they don't, and I think he's just recognizing that they're not going to be able to hold it until Bruce gets back out here. Yeah. Bruce has 140 power. How? He's got 2 squads of Rangers. He's got... Oh my gosh.
That actually is a good question.
I mean, both sides have been investing a lot in their kind of tier 1.5 armies, right? So I'm a little surprised to see Bruce as high up as he is, but I guess everyone else bought war gear in addition to their kind of extra squads.
Bruce has no war
gear.
gear.
Orc only have... Yeah.
And no aspects either, so that's kind of where he's saving that power.
Oh, yeah, sure. So he literally only spent that 60 power, and that's it. And when you look at the armies of everyone else, like, we've got Raptors, we've got War Gear. I mean, the Orc only has 2 squads, but he's got fully upgraded shooters and War Gear on his Mech Boy as well.
All right, big engagement going down right here. Oh, Warlock looks like he was going to approach, but instead it's the Raptors who will lead the way. Look at that full suppression on the entire army, followed by the Blight Grenade, and that does result in a complete retreat.
Ooh, look at that. Nasty, nasty poison. Wait, Rangers are only, Oh yeah, I do need to update the overlay, don't mind me. So, I thought we were going into the finals, then we hopped in with Cortella. It's not my fault.
We are on the semifinals right now. Can't have finals until the semifinals finish.
That's true. Here, I'm just gonna. I'll just turn that off for right now because I don't want to miss the game while I'm typing silly stuff.
All right, Heretics will get into melee, but it will be countered a bit by the electric armor from the Mech Boy. Heretics are still in here, crazily enough. Meanwhile, another squad of Heretics and some Howling Banshees will start getting some nice progress on generator farms, but the Plague Champion does go down in retreat from BestN00b.
Oh, the shooters! The shooters as well.
Oh, wow, I missed the shooters going down. If anything, that might be a bigger loss.
They died to the dot on retreat.
Even Howling Banshee is getting a little bit in trouble, so kind of a like a scrappy game at the moment. Early losses on both sides.
Definitely brutal. Everybody's heading into tier 2. There's a Falcon coming out already for Bruce Campbell. That's going to be a big nasty thing. The Blood Crusher is it's gonna be a soft answer to that Blood Crusher, and we've got some heavy melee on the Raptors as well. So I think they'll be pretty well equipped to at least put some pressure on the Falcon.
Yeah, Blood Crusher's already here. I'm gonna say I probably expect some, some of those legendary tank busters out of DarkHero. Just, tank busters, why bust tanks and all. We'll see if they can bust down that Falcon.
All right, so again, the Gen's in trouble for Bruce and BestN00b.
Yeah, no real answer for that Blood Crusher at the moment, but the Falcon is making its way out onto the field shortly, almost in range of the Blood Crusher.
It's a fancy-looking Falcon.
We'll start taking some shots, yes. I think that Bruce Campbell, he does have one of those special elite mod army schemes as he gets his revive on the Plague Champion. So that's kind of we have that.
Oh man, that backline revive, so sneaky.
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to get out of there?
Oh, it does. I think the Plague Champion gets punished here. I think he just goes down again.
Oh man,
he does.
Free experience.
Yep. It was just calculated free experience for Bruce Campbell. That was the plan all along.
That was free experience for the opponents too, though. That's
True, you're right. Totally forgot about that. Plague Marine's going to be on the way to try to help deal with that Falcon.
I see your 40 Empress spam, and I appreciate it. Cheesy Barbarian, well done.
Meanwhile, we're also going to be seeing War Truck coming out from DarkHero to synergize with his Tank Busters, turning them into some Truck Busters.
Oh, man! Look at that, the Tank Busters and the Electric Armor!
Oh my god, yeah, I just barely caught that one. Probably wouldn't have even caught it if you didn't point it out. But my god, was that powerful.
Oh man, he dropped the neural cloud too. Just a little greedy on that. If he had put that down a little faster and a little further back, that would be 2 or 3 dead squads right there. But I appreciate the attempt there.
So many models lost on that squad, but really lucky to get them all out alive.
Oh man, meantime, these Rangers trying to do what they can, but there's just too much over here for them to pick off and get that Falcon support. It's a little too risky, I think.
Rangers going to take some shots, but it doesn't feel like they've been getting the huge amount of value that they would have been getting like early on in the game or in other series here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these Chaos Space Marine squads, especially the Raptors, are so beefy that with a little bit of Nurgle worship, so long as they're not taking constant shots, they can actually heal a lot of that back off.
Meanwhile, Blood Crusher a little bit in trouble here, but we'll get away from the Plague Marines eventually.
Yeah, Plague Marines on both sides really threatening these vehicles. Redbeard heading into tier 3 now with that super quick tech.
First to make it a tier 2, first to make it a tier 3. Looks like Plague Marines will be tied up here.
No, they're tied up, but they nailed one of those heretics with a
I missed that.
They did it.
Banshee's going to be coming in, though. And against, at this point, low-strength heretics will just need to get out of there. Raptors jumping in, so this is the answer out of Bruce Campbell and BestN00b. I think they're going to be taking the edge in this engagement. Are we going to see the Blood Crusher go down?
Wow, it's going to be close, but...
It's tying up the Plague Marines.
But that Falcon should be able to finish the job, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the end of the Blood Crusher.
But unfortunately, I think the mech uses a
Oh, look at this flank! You see those Truck Busters? I don't know. It was funny. I don't know how well it's actually going to work out. Actually, I don't think it's working out at all.
No, they're slowed. The truck's going to go down. He should just pop the Tank Busters out and give it a shot.
It looks so cool, but ultimately it was not the play.
No, I think... Oh, man, there's the barrage and the electric again. What a nice and mean combo that is. I think... I just saw a heretic fly into outer space, I think.
Oh, I missed that one.
I think that if the Tank Busters had popped out of that truck while it was getting slowed, I think they might have been able to get the finishing shot on that Falcon.
And then those Chaos Space Marines actually used that truck husk as cover.
That's one of my favorite things in this game. Just having the vehicle carcasses out there. It's like, hey, you know what? I blew up your vehicle, and now I'm gonna use it to hide from your fire.
So, pretty even game at the moment. More even than the last two, although we did see a pretty crazy comeback in the last game. Victory points pretty even,
Yeah, we
379.
tuned in for a couple seconds right at the end of that and saw the finish of that.
Yeah, I was wondering, especially because the first game was pretty dominant in favor of Bruce Campbell and Best Noob, I was wondering if it was just going to be a quick 2-0 for them, since I'm still kind of looking at them as one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to win the tournament.
So with them heading into Tier 3, let's see. DarkHero has knobs coming out. DarkHero's got a small army is the problem right now. He doesn't have a lot on the field. So even with those knobs, he's going to really have to coordinate with Redbeard to get those going well. He does have the Pain Boy to get out some upgrades. I'm assuming that's still a thing, right?
I'm assuming it is too.
I'm a little out of touch with Elite Mod upgrade.
Yeah, especially first month back was like I miss the days when I literally just knew every single detail about every single unit, but those days are long gone. Warlock gets burned down really quick though.
Electric armor not quite as effective against those raptors, but that's still stacking a little bit of damage there, forcing the retreat. Yeah. And upon seeing the knobs, it looks like Buddy Nurgle's going to have to fall back for the moment.
Yeah, although he has a small army at the moment, I'm looking at like what are the answers to the knobs, and it doesn't look like the answers to the knobs are too strong out of either Bruce Campbell or Best Noob. No mark on Best Noob's Chaos Space Marines. Only significant source of damage from Bruce Campbell would be the Banshees.
Yeah, I mean, these knobs are just charging ahead. It's opening up the gen farm to these tank busters as well, so they'll be able to bash gens yet again. With both teams in Tier 3, how much of a big deal is that? Let's see. Best Noob's sitting on a lot of power. Bruce Campbell could actually use some more, so this gen bash is going to hurt him a little bit. But now we have a Predator coming out here to try to help answer this shielded Falcon now, which is one of the most notoriously difficult vehicles to take down.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if the Predator by itself gets to take down the Falcon. Oh no, Heretics in retreat for Best Noob. They're actually not even in retreat yet, and I don't know why. I think they're just dead.
I think he might have just known. He was like, they're not getting out of there, so they may as well do what they can. I'm not sure what... The knobs are starting to get some health knocked off of them. Pain Boy's coming up here to maybe add some heals into the mix. Heal goes down. Yeah, there's just not enough to answer these knobs. You're right. Like you said, I mean, it's a small army, but it's a hard counter to everything that Best Noob has on the field right now.
And look at that consistent use of those tank buster barrages there, just actually used to disrupt so that the knobs can just get in again on the Chaos Space Marines there.
Yeah, his tank buster use on those barrages has been like really impactful this game so far. And now it's like the Mech Boy, he's got the super tough beam, he's got the Pain Boy out here as well for the heals. These knobs are going to be a nightmare.
And I don't know how much you've, kept up with the players and stuff. I definitely remember Best DarkHero from a long time ago, but apparently these days he's very, very popular, very well regarded, often in part because his play often is interesting and exciting, just the way he uses abilities and manages engagements, often very fun. Full retreat from these Eldar.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Redbeard and DarkHero right now. Best Noob and Bruce are gonna have to pull out some sweet tactics to get back into this because it's looking like they are well pushed off the map.
Dire Avenger's gone from Bruce Campbell.
Yeah,
they never stood a chance there.
That was a lot of hurt to retreat through. Good positioning there from Redbeard, and now just like camping up in the center. He's got the shrine down for some heals. He's got all that sustain he can worship for a little more. Like, what are these Banshees doing? Oh no, that's already a big boot.
Yeah, they won't be available to join in the next engagement, so that's going to be continuing.
Yeah, I mean, a retreat like that it's just lost time. Like you can't engage now until you get those Banshees back out. That's a core part of your team. We've got a second tank out. And with them under 200 points, I mean, there's still plenty of time left in this game, but they've got to make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, what a turnaround considering this game started out pretty dominantly in favor of Bruce Campbell and Best Noob. Now they're really on the ropes here.
I mean, if Calderis is known for anything, it's known for these long knockdown, drag out team fights, right?
Okay, it does look like one of those team fights is coming right now, but I don't know if there's actually enough here from Bruce Campbell and BestN00b at the moment. I think he's very exposed. Certainly BestN00b is.
I mean, it's a Nurgle Predator, but this is a very forward position for it to take. It's out here with no support almost at all.
Knobs are in the back.
Coming in on the flank.
And that's the end of that Predator from BestN00b.
Oh man, and it just goes crashing into the opposing Predator. Oh my gosh, the Heretic just fell on my screen.
It was ramming speed.
I didn't even know it was in the air.
Ooh, the Falcon might even be in trouble at this point, being chased down by 2 tanks. I think they both have Cult of Speed from the Mech Boy. That's it.
Oh my gosh, this Falcon.
That could be the Falcon. That's it.
Even the big Booma shot in case the Eldar were foolish enough to advance. That was a slaughter.
Oh no. And Bruce Campbell loses a squad of Rangers as well.
And they just throw in the towel, man.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That did not end the way I expected it to.
Not anymore.
Nope. Yeah. All right then. So
wow, what a
we
play.
will be moving on to our finals. It will be, as far as I know, Noisy and Dark Riku versus Redbeard and DarkHero.